Okay, here we go. This is the fourth time I've tried to make this damn video. But here it goes. Alright. When I heard the series Obi-Wan was going to be made, I was pretty excited, right? And I'm like, okay, we're going to get Hayden back, we're going to get Ewan back, we're going to get a whole bunch of people. Actually, from just the list here, Indira Varma, I loved her in Game of Thrones. Sung Kang, great. We got Owen Lars, the Joel Edgerton. Kumali Nanjiani, I just butchered his name. Kumali Nanjiani. I can't read that great. So I was like, okay, this is looking good, It's just let's get on to it. So you obviously though things didn't really turn out for many of us. Now there were people that enjoyed it, and good for them. But me being you could say a hardcore fan of Star Wars, I found the series rather jarring. And here I have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons, okay, why I disliked this series, and one reason why I liked it. Alright, so here we go. Number 1. Continually having to check my brain. And by that meaning having to stop myself over and over, and not only myself, but my brother, which was watching the series with me. Every so many moments we kept up like, hey, but wait, this, well, wait a minute, what about that? Like, things that were just too much in your face. You're like, wait a minute, what about that? Or what about that? Not the kind of questions that carry you through the film or through the TV show. You're like, oh, okay, I noticed that, and I'm probably it's gonna pay off this way or somehow. No, it's kind of like very jarring things that, like, these sore thumbs, right? That's probably the thing I can think of that stick out and make you stop. And you're like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Or how? Full of them that were just made this thing not enjoyable. Point number 2. 2 stories that had nothing to do with each other or to be together. This series felt disjointed. It's like, okay, the series is called Obi-Wan Kenobi. What is this whole Reva thing? Like, it was like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like, I'm trying to follow this one story, and I know they have B plots and C plots and all this kind of stuff. But this was too, like, weird. This was, like, an extreme amount of emphasis on the story. It's like it was 2 competing stories fighting for screen time without it being that kind of relief, like, I'm not an expert, but, there's the A plot and it has its beats, and then in between they give you little B and C plots, to kind of like give you a little break, or let the story, continue during the A plot. But then you're like, all of a sudden you feel like you're watching another show. Or like, wait a minute, wasn't I just watching Obi-Wan Kenobi series? I didn't know this was about, Reva the Inquisitor, or, the whatever it is that she is. I think second sister, third sister. So that was the thing. It was like wanting to follow the Obi-Wan story and then getting interrupted with this other story that unfortunately you didn't give a damn about, because as far as I was concerned, in my case, I didn't know what the Inquisitors were really all about. I didn't know what she was all about. I was really not interested in her character. From the beginning, I disliked the character. I don't know if it was the writing or the acting or both. I just cannot get into Reva and her character and her story. Something was off. Point number 3. Should have been a movie. Now, having said that, it felt like it was 2 stories kind of competing with each other. Had this the story of the Inquisitors or the Reva, or basically I'm saying the Reva part, not been so intrusive, or had they cut that off and cut off a little more pieces that kind of felt like it was very sluggish. The episodes felt Uh, insipid. That was probably one of the words I would say. They felt very insipid. There was like a lot of gruel in between the main meals, right? It's just too much gruel. You could probably just, let's say, get 40, like 2.5 hours or 2 hours, like 4 episodes, cut three of them off, right, and make a movie. And all that other time you spent filming this other stuff, you could put it in the budget to get better CGI or get better sequences or just better writing. I don't know. They could have put all that talent and money into an actual movie, because I don't know. This kind of seems like maybe it was going to be a movie. I really am not up to date on things. Maybe that is the case, and then they somehow tried to like stretch it out. And when they stretched it out, it just started falling apart. And they're like, "Oh my God, it just doesn't work. Let's just stick pieces in here, kind of finesse it. And okay, we have a series that's 7 episodes long. That's what it felt. It should have been a movie." Point number 4. I don't have a series like shots that I could tell you like, hey, was bad or whatever. I'm just gonna say it felt like it was bad cinematography. There was no like remarkable like either shots or camera movements or anything. I don't know what to tell you. It just didn't feel good or special. There was one that was very jarring for me. Is like in the part where Darth Vader is hunting Obi-Wan and he's like about to get him and he's on the same planet. These big wide shots, right? And you're like, there's something wrong. It's like, even though it's Vader, somehow he doesn't fill the scene. It feels too devoid or too slow. Again, I guess it goes with pacing. He comes in and all of a sudden he starts killing people left and right. That should have been snappy. I go back to that scene in Rogue One where where you really, oh, it was so juicy. You really feel Vader. You feel his presence. You feel his the imminent doom. You know, it's dark. He lights his lightsaber, and all of a sudden he's just hacking away at these soldiers or whatever. You know, trying to get to Leia, and they're desperately trying to get the plans to her, right, so she can escape. And it's just a beautiful. It's the best sequence I probably have ever seen. Other than when it got mirrored in The Mandalorian when it was Luke Skywalker coming to get Baby Yoda. That's the only time that I've seen that recreated, and it was a beautiful mirror of what it was in Rogue One, now in The Mandalorian. And here, I never really felt that Vader presence, you know. In the movies, you always have him like up close or at an angle, you know. I never felt that. Maybe they are there. Maybe I'm, being stupid, and yeah, they were there, but I never felt them. It was always like, I don't know. I think the only times where it was kind of cool was like when he was on his starship, or the battleship. You saw him up front, where with all the windows, you know, and when he's talking to the guy, like, okay, he's kind of like a little down like that to the Grand Inquisitor, you know, that he's not gonna go after Obi-Wan ever. But again, the scenes, I don't know if it's the dialogue. They don't feel with any heft. Point number 5. No epic music whatsoever. It's like, where's the music? Even the beginning theme felt very subdued. I'm coming from watching these TV series like The Mandalorian. Ooh, they get you pumped up. Even Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett. And that was like different. At first I didn't like it, but I'm like, wait a minute, it's starting to grow on me, right? And then when you finally got that different rendition when the series ended, you can hear it was like Boba Fett. Oh my God, I'm loving this theme. But for Obi-Wan, what? That's what I heard. Just wind, huh? Okay, well that's just the theme, right? But then you get into these action scenes where there's no upswell, there's no nothing. There's music is so important with carrying, especially these types of films. I would say, into their beats and their crescendos. And I don't remember. I don't know if I was just so drawn down by the other things that were bogging me down to enjoy this series that I just couldn't enjoy it. Maybe they were there, but there was so much in this noise I didn't notice them whatsoever. Point number 6: not made by fans or knowledgeable people. Now, not every series has to be made by like necessarily fans, but at least someone that knows about the property, the IP, is somewhat competent. And the reason I made this a point is because just recently there was the Star Wars celebration, right? And I was watching. I was at home. I wasn't doing much. I had it in the background. But then they had the director. Oh my God, what is her name? Chow something Chow. Deborah Chow. Okay. The one of the host asks her, "Hey, they let you do an episode of The Mandalorian, and now you got your series. If you could have your pick of any character you could explore, like your own series, who would it be?" And then like, okay, she's gonna say something, right? And then she says nothing, right? She's like, oh, I've been really spoiled. I wish I had the quote. I'll probably put a link to the video where she does the interview. Basically, what she said is like, oh, I already had the Mandalorian. I couldn't possibly think of anything else that I would want to do. What? There's no characters that you could think of that you could possibly want to have a go at. You're saying you're a Star Wars fan. You say you like the characters. Disney comes and tells you pick a character, any that you want. You can't think of a single one, even just to answer the damn question. I would have been like, right off the top of my head, hey, you know what character we haven't really had much time, screen time, or at least, in the movies or series? Yoda. There's like a bajillion years of Yoda that you could possibly go back and like revisit. There's another character which is probably, it's very iconic, and it would probably be kind of cool, like to catch a series like a Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul type of thing. Which, funny enough, she directed an episode of that, and I was like, huh? How did she get an episode in? It was either Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad. Emperor Palpatine, but not Emperor Palpatine, but when he grew up, like this kind of like political crime drama thing. Just that would be nice, how he's all his machinations to get power and placing people. That to me would have been super interesting, to see. But just basically any other character. I don't know. Continue another series or before like Django, before Django got into Camino, and made the clones. Just so like, do you have any other characters you're a fan of? Shoot, even Luke or something. I don't care, but to come and say, oh, I don't know. I've been spoiled already. I got the best. Or I can't even remember what she said. But just, I was like, wow. So these are the people that made this series. Great. Okay, point number 7. The plot in general. One of the things that my brother and I picked up real quick is that this Riva character, for some reason that we never knew or understood, always knew everything. Whoo, that is a smart cookie, Riva is. She knows everything. as Professor Snape would put it, if he were in Star Wars, she's an insufferable know-it-all. There's one scene where, again, with the Raiders and that planet, she knows where to find the thing where the secret room is and the symbol, and somehow she teleports all the way where the tunnel leads and kills the guy and snatches up Leia. Many things are like, wait a minute, how did she know? Is she like we were like, is her Jedi power like a mind reader? Is she like Ben Solo? What's his name? Kylo Ren. Oh my God, Kylo Ren. Is it like Kylo Ren that he can, read minds? Which I guess there was a scene where she's trying to read Leia's mind. But still, you have to have the person right there, to read their mind. It's just like she knew everything. Everything. She knew everything. Kenobi being weak. The whole reason why Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Tatooine is to watch over Luke Skywalker, and I would assume to protect him. How does someone that is charged with that get so weak that he can't use the Force, he can't wield his lightsaber? There's ways to train. Shit. Look, how did Luke train in Dagobah? Right? It was about him having endurance, running around, jumping, carrying Yoda on his back. He could have done all those things, right? And yet somehow they turned him into a weakling that got disconnected. I mean, again, it's the plot. They had to weaken him ridiculously for him to somehow find his strength from Leia or from the memory of her mother. Another thing, Reva, obviously. Reva was a big sticking point. It was just, I don't know, her plot just felt obnoxious and irritating, and just not the place for it. Another thing, Organa. Okay, so they kidnap Leia, and they have all this military might at their disposal. The Senate, right? Hey, it's one of your senators. Move some political influence to get people to find your daughter, right? Saying, hey, it was my friggin' daughter. Let's find her, right? I'm sure there would have been plenty of politicians or anything that would have done some stuff just to get some political favor with a senator, because that's all it is about. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Or as they used to say in House of Cards, scratch my back, I won't lacerate yours. And then again, coming back to Reva, the whole thing that she wanted to kill Vader, and then for some reason she discovers, thankful to Bill Organa, because Bill Organa is like, hey, yeah, you know that kid that nobody knows whatsoever and safely in the Outer Rim planet, yeah, that one. Well, he's actually Anakin's son. And he's gonna grow up, and he's gonna serve the Emperor, and all this kind of stuff. And Reva's all like, "Oh, this is I'll get revenge. I'll kill an innocent child." It's just, oh my God, the story is so bad. The story is so bad. Oh my God. Point number 8. It just forgettable dialogue. I really like a show that puts at least minimum effort into their dialogue. Sometimes you don't even have to have dialogue, right? You just let the scene, the mood, and the music speak for themselves, right? And it's just these little, sometimes few words that punctuate a scene. But there's nothing smart or memorable or said that just captures you and it's like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. I can't say that. Maybe, but during the final fight with Obi-Wan and Vader, maybe there's a few couple nuggets in there, but for the whole series, no, nothing. Okay, and we get to our final point, which is or a single point of why I liked the series. And it's just that you got to see the characters again. You got to see Kenobi. You got to see Vader. You got to see Owen Lars. I actually liked Beru and Owen. You know, I like those characters. Luke, but you know, you got to see, good old characters. Qui-Gon, yes, we were waiting for Qui-Gon. Finally, we have what was promised to us so long ago. So, yeah, and a somewhat cool fight with between Vader and Obi-Wan. Would I have liked it been a little more like the Duel of Fates, in Episode 3? Yeah, another all-out, you know, fight. But again, now it's Vader. Probably he's not that great with his new cyborg body, or I don't know. It felt different. I guess, yeah, it couldn't be the same, but maybe just met with the same intensity. At least either from one of them or the other. I don't know. But that's the only single point. It's just we got to see Kenobi, we got to see Vader. Anytime we get to hear that beautiful voice of James Earl Jones. Oh my God, my ears. They sing or something like that. That was the only point. Lightsabers fights, powers, chokeholds. That was the only reason this series was any good. So in conclusion, was this a good series? No, this wasn't a good series. To me, just subpar on so many levels, and there was very little salvageable to just make it palatable. It's sad. It's sad and a little frustrating, and you think Disney, with all their money, could have just done a movie. They did Han Solo, for crying out loud, right? All these other movies that they've done, bad. They could have really done a cool Obi-Wan movie with a bigger budget, some friggin' music, and some memorable dialogue, which I cannot for the life of me think of any. Anyways, thanks for watching. That was my rant, and hey, let's hope for the next series is not so bad.